Hello friends and welcome back to the C.Gars channel. Today I'm once again joined by Humphrey of TOR, and we're going to be talking about a little bit of a different brand to the last time. So obviously last time we talked about Oliva, and now this time we're going to be talking a little bit about Drew Estate and the rich history behind it. Okay, so Callie, could you just briefly tell us a little bit about Drew Estate and how it came about and who runs Drew Estate and what goes on there?
Yeah, so most of you probably have heard of Jonathan Drew, hence the name Drew Estate. And with a lot of our brands, actually, you know, we can go on about how they have the family that's always sort of made cigars, but it was a little bit different for Jonathan. And he actually started in New York, and he had a really small, I think the exact term was 16 square foot kiosk in the World Trade Center selling cigars with his friends. So there's no real big history of it being through decades. It actually started with a dream to become a cigar manufacturer. And obviously fast forward to now, and he's been very successful at it. But it started as a little stall in the World Trade Center.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's quite unique actually, isn't it?
Very, yeah. So I think the official dates were in 1998. He moved out to Nicaragua, Esteli, to sort of start the rebirth of cigars, he called it. And he had a little bit of money, barely spoke Spanish, and a handful of rollers, and was just trying to create something that hadn't been done before. Fast forward to a year, so in 1999 he moved back to Brooklyn, and he had new cigars, new flavours, and was trying to pursue his dream. And then really the rest was sort of history.
Awesome. I mean, Drew Estate's a wonderful brand, and I feel like it's very unique.
Yeah. Okay,
so they've somehow gone from 16 square foot to being one of the biggest factories in the world.
Yeah, so La Gran Fabrica is their factory in Esteli, and it's the largest factory in Nicaragua for sure, one of 5 largest in the world of premium cigar factories, and it is just over 96,000 square feet. So he's literally gone from like this to like one of the biggest factories in the world.
Yeah.
And Jonathan welcomes people to go and visit, and he's got many different strings to his bow. He's really into art and graffiti and things, so there's loads of hand-painted murals around the place, and it is supposed to be stunning. I always talk about these really nice places, but I haven't visited anywhere yet. But
it's on the list.
It's on the list, yeah, and I've seen photos and videos, so I can just pretend I've been.
Okay, so Drew Estate have brought out so many varying blends over the years, and their latest release to the UK is the Undercrown 10 range. Could you tell us a little bit about the history behind this blend and how it came about?
Yeah, so this particular cigar has got a really quite fascinating story, and actually at the trade show in May I caught up with Mac, who also works for Drew Estate, and he told me about this story a little bit more in depth. And so basically a few years ago, when they're working on the factory, the rollers and the staff, they like to smoke a cigar while they're there. Why wouldn't you if you're working in a cigar factory? And they were really into smoking the Liga Privada. But as the Liga Privada got more and more popular and the demand was higher, and they were trying to ship them out to people like us that really want to smoke them, they decided to come up with their own blend, which was similar to the Liga Privada, but ones that they could roll while they're on the floor and smoke. So the only difference really between the Liga Privada and the Undercrown 10 is that the Undercrown 10 has a Maduro wrapper from San Andreas, Mexico.
Okay.
But they tried to sort of use the same components of the Liga Privada to make this unique cigar. And at the time, Jonathan and his team were actually looking to bring in a new blend, a new cigar to the range. And the staff presented him with this cigar. And they all sat there and smoked it and was like, wow, like this is phenomenal. So it went from a cigar that was made on the floor by the staff to actually becoming one of the most popular lines of Drew Estate. And it's permanently here forever now. So it's got a really, really nice story that actually it wasn't, blended by a particular cigar blender. It was literally the staff that worked for Drew Estate in the factory and thought, right, we really like this, and they tried different things and they came up with that and shared it with us. So for that we are grateful. But yes.
I think it's wonderful because, there's so many brands out there, and for them to just listen to their workers so carefully and really respect what they want, that just says a lot about the brand and the people behind it.
And it's been, so if you look at the band, it's been designed as well, so Jonathan with the staff in mind. The lion represents the strength of the staff and how that they've gone and been brave and they've been bold and they've said, look, we really love this cigar, I think you should give it a try. And the crown underneath represents how humble they are as a brand, and it's just everything about the cigar, the story, who made it, and the brand, I think is just really nice.
Okay, Callie, so you've mentioned the story behind the Undercrown range, but how does the Undercrown 10 come into it?
So the Undercrown 10 was released in 2021, which is to celebrate 10 years of Undercrown. And the Undercrown 10 actually has a tagline called All Decked Out, which you may have seen on the packaging. And that is to celebrate the 10 years of excellence and how well the Undercrown 10 has done. And they made, the band extra fancy, they made the boxes extra fancy. So it's just really a celebration of what is such an incredible story. And then to commemorate that, they've made the cigar again, but extra fancy.
That's good. I mean, it's a really nice cigar.
Yeah.
It's it just looks premium, it looks elegant.
Well, we said about bands before, but in particular that it's just really classy.
Yeah.
I like a matte band, because obviously a lot of bands will have shine on, which I do like as well, but that just looks a bit different, which I think is probably what the team at Drew Estate had in mind.
Yeah, another thing that stands out is that it's not just one band, it's got two.
Yeah.
And so obviously you can actually take the lion off. So if I do that carefully.
Ooh.
And then you've got the lion and the crown, and then you've got the secondary band just behind it. And then obviously you've got the band on the foot as well of the
And it
cigar.
actually says Gracias on the inside. I don't know if you can see it. That's cute as well.
Yeah, nice.
But for
nice
people that
little
like to keep bands as little trophy pieces, this is a good one to try.
Yeah, it's great. As I'm sampling the cigar, I can't help but feel like I'm connected to those workers in some sort of way.
Yeah.
It just feels special knowing that this blend has come from the people, not just behind the brand, but the people that kind of cultivate the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's easy when we look at brands, there's always like a brand ambassador or like a face for a brand. But what's really nice about the Undercrown range is like Jonathan is showing, it's not just him and the front of house, it's a celebration of the team behind that make everything happen. And I know they were absolutely over the moon to be able to create something which was then adored by everyone, and they never hide from the fact that is what it is. It's such a nice experience to have, and to show that them guys have such dedication to make these things, and we just sit and smoke it for a couple of hours. But it's really promoted that there is a big team and a big family of workers, and ultimately they know best. Like, they're the ones handling the leaves, they're picking up the tobacco. If they like it, we've got to believe them.
I mean, they've done that for years.
Exactly,
I'm sure they know what they're doing. And well, by the way that I'm enjoying the cigar, I can't doubt that. So
exactly, yeah. No, it's a really, really nice story.
So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out the range from Drew Estate, then the link will be in the description below. Callie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
As always, it's a pleasure. Next time we'll talk about another brand. Not quite sure what yet. Maybe
no, I'll decide.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, as always guys, stay safe, happy herfing, and peace.